looking forward to the next top game against RB Leipzig. We want to talk about it with Thomas Tuchel and you, obviously. So let's start with the first question. To start with something positive, there was a good news yesterday that Manuel Neuer took part in team practice. We were talking about him and the comeback dates. What does that mean to you now? You said it could go pretty quick now. Probably not Leipzig, but what are the plans to get him fully involved? Well, those were really good news, and Manu made a partial integration into team practice. He wasn't a full part of it. He was in goal. We had a couple of shots at him, and he was playing as an outfield player in practice. It was just a short practice, 2 days after a game, not really intensive, more theoretical practice, and he just played a small part. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's a short step forward, but once he is a big part of the practice, then things can go quickly, but we are still a couple of days or weeks removed from it, and we don't want to put more load on him with more further dates that we're going to set. We're all according to plan. I just hope that he's reacting to it well, and that we can still put him into practice more and more, and then we'll decide when he will be back in goal. 2 short questions. First, how are the players doing that were not in the team midweek? Can you plan with them again? And looking ahead to Mainz, you played against Manchester United and Leverkusen. But now with this game, some say, well, this is a reality check maybe. Yeah, you were talking about difficult games, and then we had Bochum, who can be a very difficult opponent, but we made it look easy because we were really concentrated, and just like we were in the cup game. Obviously, we made it look like it was just an easy game, but internally we want to tell our team that we really did a good job, and now we continue on a high level against Leipzig. They really have a good squad, have a high-level squad, and they were really coping well with the transition that they had. They were giving away a couple of very important players like Conny to us, but they still continue with good results. They were beating us off late in the Super Cup, and now we have to find an answer and continue with what we did in the last games, no matter who's our opponent. But obviously we have to appreciate what Leipzig is doing, but we know that it's a difficult task, but we got self-confident in order to have a goal, and that is to win this game at Leipzig. I can tell you that Minje, Thomas and Upa were part of the practice. The intensity was not too high, but they weren't complaining about any reactions, and they had an individual program afterwards where we were raising the intensity a bit, but it was only the 3 of them, and they didn't show any reaction to it, as far as I know at least. We have practice later today, and if it continues this way, all those 3 will be part of the squad, so only Serge and Mata will not make the squad. I hope that it stays this way. I cannot confirm it as of now, but it's a tendency. I would like to continue with that. I can imagine that Leipzig might be something for you personally as well. at the end of the season, you lost the game, which made the title race tight again. The loss today again. What is it that makes Leipzig that difficult and dangerous? I believe that they have really good quality. They play a 4-4-2 really automatically. They've been playing it for years. They were able to compensate their personal losses that they had. They have got lots of speed. They defend as a team. They attack as a team. They're really quick in pretty much every position. And they play as a collective very dangerously. And they also have phases where they have the ball and they are really clear in their structures, and that's what makes them very strong as a team, as a group. We know their qualities and we acknowledge them, but we still have to see that we had 2 losses of late at home, one that almost cost us the German Championship and one that cost us the German Super Cup, and that is something that we don't like. And this always gives you reason to ask questions about yourselves and show a reaction. And that's what we did after the loss at the Super Cup, where we were really performing well. And we have to prove this tendency. On both occasions, we were not really up to our level and were not playing well. In order to win the game at the Super Cup, we had a couple of chances, but we're not scoring, and we conceded the goals at bad timings of the game with dead ball situations and all this, but we were still too slow in our own game, and all this is a lot better now. The mood is good, the mentality is there, we have the results, so it's the right time to turn this thing around and to really reach the top of our level, and so we have the possibility to win, but it's going to be difficult. Xavi Simons is not an unknown person to you. How do you see his development at Leipzig? Were you thinking that he could be such a factor in the team of RB Leipzig? Well, I had him as a really young player at Paris, and it was clear that he is a very talented player with a high potential. But with the offensive team that we had at PSG, it was very difficult to get him into the team. But when you can practice with the players on that level, that means that you have the talent, and then it's the question whether you are really that keen and whether you maybe make a smart transfer, which what he did. It was going through the Dutch league, qualifying for the Dutch national team, and now he has a really good string at Leipzig on his best position at this half offensive 10 winger position. Very free role. He's technically adept. He's very dangerous in front of goal, which is good for him, but we have to put a stop sign up at the weekend and then he can continue. Serge Gnabry will be out for a couple of weeks. Can you tell us for how long maybe, and what does this mean to you? I would normally say 4 to 6 weeks, but I don't know whether that helps. I don't know exactly the medical details as of when to start playing with a cast and when not, when it makes sense and when not. He can practice a lot as a football player, even if you have a broken forearm, but as far as I know, we have to be careful with the contacts, with him falling down and all this. football is a contact sport, so you can fall down. But we have to be careful with that. But individually, we can probably keep him in practice so that his condition, his physique will not suffer. And once we have the green light from the medical department to play him with a cast, then we can maybe reduce this time a bit, but not dramatically. And that means a lot of games, as we have games all 3 days, and it's a really difficult loss for us. We were talking about the special game against Leipzig. Do you know, do you have any revenge feelings when it comes to the last 2 losses you had? No, I wouldn't say that, but we're all competitive and we all want to win all the time, and particularly on that level, we really can't cope with losses too well, so that's really in our heads, and it's no difference whether it's the team or me, so it is a top game at the league, and when you lost twice, then it's personally a different feeling. Revenge and all this are not words that fit, because we won't get the Super Cup back, and you always have to prove yourself from the start. But it's definitely a sting, and personally, it's not different to me when I lose a tennis match or when I play paddle or something. When you lose the last game, then you start differently at the next game, and you don't want to lose this, and that's just naturally to us, and we absolutely take it like that. I don't know how much second division you play. St. Pauli had really a great start with their coach Fabian Hützeler, who played at Bayern Munich Youth. He was learning at you for a couple of weeks. What are your impressions from him? Well, everything I say now would be just dangerous, because I simply don't know enough from him. I just learned and just got to know him briefly, but personally he's a really nice person and good character. I understand that he got the chance last season, started an incredible series, but I'm just not informed enough to really give my opinion. I'm looking from a distance with lots of sympathy, and I really appreciate what he does. It's great from the outside, but I can't tell more about it. 2 more questions. How did you like Rafael Guerreiro at his comeback, and what are your plans with him? Because he might be an option in midfield for you. Well, I really liked what he did, but it's a personal thing. Because I really like everything that he does. He's a really good footballer, very intelligent, and it's good to see him when we have possession and everything in practice. He's always sure on the ball. He's taking good decisions with his left foot, and the decisions that he does tell you that he's 2 steps ahead. Usually he has a very natural self-confidence. He likes to play, can play at left back, and he can play in midfield in the half positions as well. He's dangerous in front of goal. He's a good assist guy, and so it's really good to have him back. And I know him personally, obviously, he's from our time at Dortmund, and I know that it's important to him to have a smile on his face on the pitch, that he has fun being out there. That gives him that special thing on the ball when he's on the pitch. It's been a while, and he really did well at his comeback, and I don't think it'll take too much time to be completely back. Julian Nagelsmann will be at the game on Saturday. Have you been talking to him, talking about his players, or do you plan a meeting with him? No, there are no plans as of now. It's completely normal that a national team coach will watch this game. We have not planned any meetings and didn't talk yet. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.